All right, thank you so much for staying with Metropole Business Center. This is Wednesday where we talk matters agriculture, matters farming. My name is Tabitha Muthoni, sitting in for Kevin Nyakundi. All right, today we introduced our topic of the day and we said we are talking about organic matter. What do you understand by the term organic matter? And we shall be joined in by a farm manager all the way from Kitale, Patrick Shiundu. But before I even introduce him to you, let us go back to our question of the day, which would like you to send in your responses as we continue on with our discussion. Our question of the day is, does organic matter increase soil pH? Does organic matter increase soil pH? You can send in your responses on our Twitter and Facebook pages at Metropole TV Kenya at the moment. All right, let's get into our discussion of the day. And we have said that there are so many factors that affect productivity, starting from water, crop rotation, and most of all, organic matter. Now, since we're discussing organic matter and how it's important, we are joined by Patrick Shiundu, who is the farm manager, Manor House Agricultural Center, all the way from Kitale. Patrick, karibu sana Metropole TV.
Okay, asante sana.
All right, great. So great to have you. And before we even get into understanding what organic farming is, maybe we can start with an understanding of who Manor House is. You have heard so much about Manor House. People know you're in different locations or regions in the country, but you are speaking to us from the main center, which is Kitale. So you can bring us up to speed on who Manor House is and what you do.
Okay, thank you very much. Manor House is a non-governmental institution that is practicing organic farming from 1984, when some of you are not born. And we have been in existence up to this particular moment. And we started with biointensive agriculture, where we use organic materials, and now we have changed it to agroecology, which is now a component of having all under it. So Manor House also is an institution that is training students on diploma and also certificate on agroecology. So we teach our students to go with how they can conserve environment without polluting it. So we also have some internship from universities, from other areas, from US, who come also to our place to learn all about organic farming. We also do research. I'm a researcher. So we do research also to find out some evidence that will really strengthen to make the bodies making. And also we train farmers from different regions outside even Kenya. They come here, we train them on organic farming. So it is something that has been in existence for a good time. It's old enough. That's why we are here to educate more.
Great. And it is actually indeed a full house all the way since the year 1984, and having internships and taking in students and being a training center, that is quite commendable. Kazi nzuri.
Yes.
All right, so let us get into what we are discussing today, organic farming. For someone who is maybe, hearing organic farming for the first time, maybe they think they know because they've had it in the past, or maybe they just don't know. Maybe you can explain to us what organic farming is, Patrick.
Okay, thank you. Organic farming is an agricultural system where we use fertilizers that are organic origin. We use fertilizers that are organic origin. Like composting, manure, composting from animals, green manure, we have them, bone meal, keeping rotation, and also incorporating of crop residues. That's organic farming.
Great. That is organic farming. All right. So when it comes to organic farming, you have explained what it is. Now let us go into the requirements. What do I require for organic farming, or for me to do organic farming? Take us through the mwanzo, katikati, hadi mwisho. What do I require, or what are the requirements when it comes to doing organic farming?
Okay, that's a very good question. When you want to call yourself organic farmer,
Uh-huh.
what you need to depend on is the use of synthetic chemicals. You depend completely. You say
Yes.
riswa. You don't try to use again the synthetic fertilizers. And also on the side of pest control, we have some natural ways of controlling pests and diseases. And also, when you do that, you recycle all organic wastes from your farm. So we consider you doing also crop rotation. With crop rotation, will improve soil regeneration. That is how one can call himself or herself a organic farm.
Uh-huh. All right, so
Yes.
staying pure or getting rid of synthetic fertilizers on your farm, that is a requirement when it comes to doing pure organic farming. All right, now,
Yes.
Peter, Patrick, sorry, let
Yes.
us now get into the different types of organic farming, and feel free. Elezea watu kuna aina gani za organic farming. Kuna vitu mingi ambazo umetaja hapa pale, lakini sasa guide a fellow farmer, maybe someone who is starting, someone who is agriculture or farming enthusiastic. Patrick.
So when we talk of types of organic farming, we have many.
Yes.
Integrated organic farming is where a farmer has animals and growing crops. And here now, what we look into is the farmer will be getting like hay, grows things like maize, then the stuffers are fed to animals, and then the animals will give out cow dung and the most valuable minerals, urine. So urine has a lot of nitrogen. So he will be capturing the urine and make the compost, of which will go back to the farm. What we believe in is that when you grow a crop, it will be taking minerals from the soil. And how much can we take back to the soil? Since we eat the grains and ourselves we go to the toilet, it is not used. And the remaining that is in stores in the waste or urine from the animals will come forth, bring back our soils by making compost. Two,
Yes.
crop rotation. When you do crop rotation, I believe that we have legumes, we have grass family, we have legumes, we have solenaceae, we have different types of crops. And we have heavy feeders, light feeders, heavy giver. So when you plant something that like a grass, it's a heavy feeder. If you want now to maintain your soil, what can you do? You bring back the heavy giver, which is a legume. And if you want to excavate some minerals that have gone deeper, you grow a deep-rooted crop like the sukuma wiki. They will bring back the mineral to the level where crops can use. That's one. Another one.
Yes.
Green manure. I know most of the people don't understand green manure, but green manure is where you grow a crop. And when it reaches like flowering is when it has a lot of nitrogen, you dig it or you plow it in. Now when you plow it and leave it for 8 days or 7 days, you grow your crop there. So all the minerals will be taken back to the soil. But now in Manor here we did a research and found in the western region of Kenya, Dolcos labla, Wakikuyu wanasema njahi, Rongai. That is the best one that can grow quickly and also does well even during the drought period. So we use that one as our green manure. We grow it, we dig in, we plant a number 9 or number 9 maize, of which I've said we are already ready to harvest. We used nothing, it's only God that has been guiding. Then we come to compost. You know, people have trees, have what, but they don't make compost. You see, when you make a compost from the recycles from the farm, like a kitchen waste, ashes, your hair, feathers from the poultry, you see, when you decompose that, it comes back to compost, which is a very good humus that we can use to grow crops. And it will make something good and Actually, the most important thing is how can we make our soil look good, have a good pH. A pH can't come when you don't improve it. And when you use much of synthetic fertilizers, you reduce it. Our soil becomes acidic. And when it goes to acidic, the pH is below 5. And we need the pH to be from 6.5 to 7.5. So how do we do it? This idea of making compost that will help us.
Yes.
Soil management. Soil management also help us. Is another method.
Yes.
Soil management, you need also to understand, most of the people don't understand their soils. And that is what makes even our country, Kenya, people having no food. But if you understand your soils, usually if you are a doctor, the patient comes to you, you look for something that is giving headache to the patient. And why should you own land? And when you grow maize, some are short, some are tall, some are ailing up, some are even crying, and you don't care.
Yeah, it's as a result of lack of soil management.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is good for you to understand the soil management,
Yes.
which means what this that is causing my soil not to be fertile.
Yes, you have yes. Let me cut you short. You have mentioned something about the soil pH and how the compost or matter affects it. But maybe you can elaborate a little bit on how now the manure affects the pH balance of the soil, just very briefly, and then we can continue with the other different types of organic farming. Yes.
Okay. I'm doing soil science in class, and it is a long-term thing where you need to understand your soil first.
Yes.
And understand your soil chemistry, and understand your soil biology. And now when you go to soil chemistry, we come to organic matter.
Yes.
You understand organic matter chemistry. What is this that is in organic matter? And what are these processes that it takes? So when you cut things and put it together, we have some microorganisms that will help to synthesize, to decompose. And when they decompose this, then from the waste the microorganism bring out, it brings out some minerals in the waste. It has nitrogen, has phosphorus, has potassium, has all this.
Yeah.
So when all this, now you take back at this material, the compost to the farm, then it will improve your farm to have fertility. The most important thing that brings the pH low is the fertility of the soil. And when you add this now, organic matter will influence all these minerals to be in your soil, and pH will be up. I don't know.
Great.
If it could be in class, give some matter and being terminology.
Yes, there's actually a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn when it comes to soil pH.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's continue and take maybe a few questions before we wrap up this conversation, Mr. Patrick. We have now discussed the different types of organic farming. Maybe you can just briefly expound or explain to us how organic farming is different from non-organic farming, the advantages and the disadvantages, and then we can come to the sources of where to get this organic matter. Yeah, back to you, Patrick.
Okay, thank you. When you look into comparison,
yes,
let me say chemical side and organic side, you'll see that on the chemical side, it's also, they have fertilizer, yes, but now you go out there to buy. You need time to buy.
Yes.
But now when it comes on the side of organic, we influence farmers to make their own fertilizer. And now, when we put the comparison, then you will see that when you put something like a chemical in the soil, when it dissolves in the soil, then everything is taken by the plant.
Yeah.
Nothing remains, so the soil won't be improved. But when you put the organic manure in the soil, part of it will be dissolved and taken to the crop, but part of it also will be in the soil, will make your soil remain fertile for some time. compared to this chemical. So it is just an idea of now. If now we want to improve the pH of the soil, and when we go on the side of chemicals, they will tell you use lime, isn't it?
Yes.
They say use lime to control your chemical ratio in your soil. That comes on the side of organic. We also recommend lime, but now we can tell a farmer make it compost, do crop rotation, do agroforestry, all these components, and it will make sure that it is changing your soil to come back to fertility, and your soil pH will be all right.
All right, so you had mentioned earlier some of the sources, you know, the black beans and all that, and I think people can still do more research on understanding the various sources of manure that we have. But looking at the commercialization aspect, Mr. Patrick, maybe you can take us through how how a small farmer or a beginner farmer can be guided when it comes to the commercialization aspect. They want to do organic farming in large scale, and also someone who is already advanced like you, like now, what should they be looking out for? Just very briefly, Patrick.
Okay, thank you. Well, because a beginner always has a challenge, and a beginner also, as we know in English, a change is difficult.
Yes, it's quite difficult, yes.
It is not something you just come in and start with a beginner. There will be something attracting a beginner.
Yes.
Something mind says, okay, why don't I change now from this to that? And now from there is when a beginner will need to seek for information. What is this I can do? How is it done? So you will see, it will need a beginner to understand how to make it compost.
Yes.
To understand how to make compost and why and from what material do we need to do that. So that is what a beginner should learn first. Then second, a beginner needs to do it by exercise, doing, not just talking, 9% talking, but nothing is being done. Should put in practice, slowly. There is something I usually tell farmers. When you are working, as you are my friend, and you will reach a time when you want to retire. If you used to keep your family with 2 kg of meat every day, then when you are almost to retire, if you don't want chaos in the family, then you need to reduce until you come with a quarter kilo. Now when you retire, your people knows now you are at home and there's no need they should be bothering you. That happens to the soil. We don't say immediately change from chemical to organic. We tell farmers to do gradually. You can do half. Use half of organic plus DAP until you will come a time when you are now land is ready to accommodate only the organic. Now the pH will be reading from 6.5 and going above.
Yes.
But we don't recommend one saying, okay, change it to organic when you don't have the experience. You can make your compost, but it's not good or it's not mature and you use it. Then in the long run, you say, this is stupid. Organic matter doesn't work. But it's better to gain the capacity of making something before you practice it.
Yes.
But now when we go to large-scale farmers, you know, people with bigger farms, it's very difficult to start with organic. But how are we trying to engage them? We started, you know, in the beginning here in Kitale, people with like 100 acres could just go outside there and burn the stovers. The stovers are the base remaining. Now they were burning that stovers. But when they burn, you know, nitrogen volatilizes and the ashes are washed by water. So there's nothing returned to the state. But when now they came across an idea of incorporating residues, taking residues as things to the animal yards, trying to make some food from stovers and feed animals, and animals gives you dance. Now you see these large-scale farmers have changed. Although now they go to buy chemicals, but now they don't buy as much as they were doing. Because they had reached a stage where now they say 1 acre needs 2 packs of DAP. But now when they incorporate it, now they come down. Some are now even messing up. You will
Yes,
see,
yes, Patrick.
slowly,
Yes.
these guys will come back. And now when you go now to Kitale, even, they sell maize covers. They sell manure.
Yes.
You see, people are really coming. If you want to plant bananas, you go and look for manure or something that has been made so that you improve your soil. So I think with the large scale farmer,
Yes.
planning much on using organic.
Yes.
But with the small scale farmers, the small scale farmer cannot earn good when he just uses something different from organic. The
All
most
right,
crucial
yes.
point here is making your soil fertile
Yes.
to give you good protection.
Yes.
Now, from that small area of yours, when you use a manure, then I have an acre of maize can give you 12 bags of maize instead of giving you 4. Then
Yes.
you get 4 bags
Yes.
and you have 10 kids.
Yes,
then always
Patrick.
you will be hungry.
Yeah.
And you will have generation crop every day.
True. All right. Thank you so much, Patrick. There's a lot more you have explained, and I know whoever would like, to maybe get an understanding or get more on organic farming, they can come to your social media pages. How do we get Manor House on your social media pages, Patrick?
We have a website, of which I can't just remember head. I will tell Noah to send it to you.
All right.
So that you can incorporate it.
All right.
We have the website with all this.
Sawa, asante sana. So you can Google Manor House and get to understand, a lot when it comes to organic farming, the requirements and all that, and also maybe be a partner with them. And there's a lot when it comes to, organic farming or farming contributing to food security in the country. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Thank you too.
All right, so that has been Patrick Shiundu, who is the farm manager, Manor House Agricultural Center, all the way from Kitale, talking to us about organic farming and its importance in the country. All right, before we get into a short commercial break, we'd like to bring to you the question of the day, which we asked: does organic matter increase soil pH? And I'll take in some of your responses so far. And Abigail from Dome, you say, good show today, Tabitha. Thank you so much. I have learned so much. Thank you. David from Kitengela, good show, Tabitha. The answer is yes. Wow, like Patrick said, urine has an acid, so it's likely that if you use urine, your soil will get more acidic. Very clever, David. All right, Chris from Ronga or Rongai, you say the answer is yes, of course, depending on what material you use for organic matter. We have great farmers out here. And Mercy from Kiambu, you say, I guess it has to be a yes. All right, so keep your answers coming in. We'll get to read them as we continue on with our show. Question of the day: does organic matter increase soil pH? We take a short commercial break. We'll be right back.